Hi, I'm Michael Meredith, and man, I am happy today. 50 years of architecture, and I finally have it. A nice, low-cost, very attractive, home-buildable structure based on a lot of work other people have done and a lot of work I've done. And I'm going to show it to you right now as best I can. Hope you can understand, and this is going to be fun. Okay, first I'd like to show you my desk. I'm going to show you some of the colors and stuff that really make me think. You know, this is my desk, and I'm telling you, you guys need a nice desk with all kinds of colorful stuff. Pictures of your family and, you know, bright sun in the morning, and this is what's going to make you think. So, first off, here we are at 132020. It is spring, and this is an architectural success story. 50 years of architecture, and I have it. Parachute smid means you take a white parachute and you can take a regular green one and bleach it and get it white. So it's not very costly. You apply colors, which I'll explain later. You apply colors and resin mixes to that, and you can get lots of colors. And here, I'm going to show you an example right now. This here is one of my smid creations. Give you an idea. This is a mesh, not the one I'm talking about, but it's another one. I've done hundreds of experiments with this stuff, both interior and exterior. You can Google statueofmotherhood.com. Google that, you'll come up with all kinds of stuff of artwork that I've done. Even someone made a quasi-documentary. This is going to be your interior wall, but you make your art the way you want it. You put the colors you want, and it's cheap, because all you need is some old parachute or other fabric. There's lots of fabrics. Okay, so now you can make a dome shape bent steel pipe, or a typical barrel vault hoop house. It's called hoop house, greenhouse. There's plenty of them on the internet. You'll see, if you look for a guy who made a geothermal greenhouse in Nebraska, just go on YouTube, put that in there, you'll find out that you can heat a greenhouse and make it really nice. So now there's a bunch of details. A bunch of details. Details are important. Here we have a little house inside of a hoop greenhouse. And I was working on, this morning, I was working on a foam home inside. This would be foam boards with the smid on it, supported by the steel greenhouse with some steel pipes in the walls. And yes, you could have a house that way. It could even collapse and be portable. But then I thought, what do I need the home inside there if I get a geothermal greenhouse, which means you bury pipes in the ground. Granted, that costs you $20,000, but now you don't have to heat that sucker. So taking advantage of a lot of other research, you could dig in, have these little knee walls. So now you can put your trays of plants, you know, on the little wall. You're under the ground, so you're already getting some of the geothermal effect. You take mulch, say hay, and dip it in sodium silicate, which is, by the way, highly refractory, which means it won't burn. Dip it in that, and then you're going to cover that with plastic, and then you can cover that with a, I call it a chaya roof. I'll explain that later. But basically it's just black plastic and wires and mesh holding down some hay and some dirt. So the whole north side can be covered with this relatively cheap insulation, including, instead of the greenhouse plastic, which is 10 cents a square foot, you can use the black plastic here, which is 5 cents a square foot, and you can put the rainbow smid, which is basically just, you know, paint some colors and resins onto your parachute or what other fabric you think will work. And that is what's inside your house. And you don't have to do it this way. You can do it right on top of the ground. That's just one idea. You don't need to do that at all. And then I'm figuring you can make sinks, showers, and tubs in foam smid. And then you can have a swimming pool which will heat your place and put fish in there. You need to go look at aquaculture, but especially where they recirculate the fish water and use it to feed plants, which also cleans the water, then goes back into the fish. These, I think, are really remarkable. So now you can fish right in your house. The hoop greenhouse is especially inexpensive to build. I mean, of any kind of structure available today, something you can build yourself, it's remarkable, all the stuff that's on the, I go to YouTube, there's plenty of other places on the internet. So, you can fish in your house, and you are a genius gump. You know, go for it. You are a genius. You can do it yourself. So we have parachute greenhouse plastic walls. So that means you got this colorful rainbow color. You don't have to use plain greenhouse. The sun blocking fabric sold for greenhouses are, I think, very expensive. I think this method is going to reduce that quite a bit. And then I believe that all the interior walls can be made out of the simple greenhouse smid doors, with the doors and the walls. So you want to put in a bedroom or something. Basically, you're going to be building a dome, or a, let's see, a hoop house is going to look kind of like this. Okay, and it's got these pipes. Okay, so that's basically what a hoop greenhouse looks like. It's kind of a half a tube. But you can also make it in the form of a dome if you like domes. Domes are pretty. I'm sure there's a lot of other shapes you can make them in, but bending the pipes is a little bit of work. You can buy kits too. This whole thing is so fascinating. But now, okay, what I'm basically saying, and what the true brilliance of this is that originally I was thinking, and a lot of people I think have done it, you know, they like take a motorhome or a trailer and put it inside of a warehouse, for example. Well, now you can put the same motorhome inside of a dome or a hoop greenhouse, or you can just build yourself a house. You can make it with foam, just take foam panels and then put this smid material on both sides, support that with pipes. That, in turn, those pipes get connected to the pipes which make up your hoop greenhouse, which can be, again, either a dome or a barrel vault. So this, just yesterday, it was February. Today, it's March. Now, you wouldn't know it because it's kind of cold out, but spring is coming, and I'm happy. So this was my foamular house. That was this morning. I woke up, jumped out of bed, had a coffee, haven't finished it yet, and then I had this idea of the foam house inside the greenhouse, and then I moved on to, why not just geothermal heat it? Okay, it's $20,000 if you're going to pay someone to excavate. I've investigated the excavating situation. I used to pay a guy $60 an hour 20 years ago. It was actually cheaper to get him in with his backhoe than to rent a backhoe. But an excavator that weighs 1/3 less than a backhoe operates on 1/3 of the fuel and produces 1/3 of the, more of the result. Cheaper to operate, does 1/3 more work, and that's not including getting stuck in the mud, because believe me, those backhoes with those tires get stuck in the mud way more than a tracked device that also weighs a lot less. So rent yourself medium, small size excavator. Costs you about $1,500 total, including fuel for a week. Dig up your yard and have fun. I mean, honestly, using excavators backhoes, bulldozers, and bobcats is just a lot of fun. So why cheat yourself, you know, and just watch a lot of videos about operating characteristics and then get around finally to the simple controls. Very simple. And this is going to cost you a lot less than going out and paying someone. Any kind of way you go about trying to get experience with an excavator is not nearly as cheap as just renting it yourself and having some fun. Okay? So, to recap, you can build a foam structure inside of a greenhouse, in which case you have conditioned area. You can step right out. Even if it's like 30 below outside, you're going to step right out into a place that's not nearly as cold as that and will heat up when the sun hits it. Or you can make a geothermal setup where you bury pipes and tubes, oftentimes beneath the structure, and get yourself a house. This guy in Nebraska has his house heated that way too. So, you know, why pay for fuel? If it's $20,000 up front, well, what's fuel cost you for 20 years? You know, that's the question. It's going to be more than $1,000, and this heats and cools it. So, you know, why mess around? Now, let me try to explain the floor system. I don't know if I got a picture. Oh, there we go. Okay, we got a little picture. So, this picture is showing ceramic tile. I call it sea tile. That's right on sand. You edge glue. I have not tried this yet, by the way. This is all experimental, but it's based on facts. A lot of things I've been studying. I did ceramic tile for a long, long time. So, the ceramic tiles, you're going to put a little bitty bead, tiny bead of silicone caulk on the edge and push them into each other, a little squeeze out, let that dry, and scrape it off with a nice sharp chisel, probably. So now you're going to put that right on top of probably a little bit of sand, right on top of the plastic, but under that you're going to have your dirt, and you're going to smooth that out, and then you're going to set up a system to level out the sand, beat it down, put a little more on, but you're probably going to want some plastic under there, because you got to stop the moisture. Now the ceramic tile itself might stop the moisture, but why mess around? Plastic, black plastic's only 5 cents a square foot, so it's not that expensive. Granted, it's more work. I have no idea. If you do this system properly, you might just keep the water out, because ceramic tile, high-fired ceramic tile, not dilute, you know, soft stuff. In fact, at the moment, I can get either ceramic tile, or what's better is porcelain tile. I could make a whole video on the details of porcelain tile. It's 3/8 of an inch thick. It's hard as a rock. Very high-fired stuff. Very nice. Edge glue that. Lay it out. You know, you're going to have a pretty solid floor. Granted, you drop something on it, it'll break, but then you're going to be able to knife it out, put in a new one, so keep a good few on hand. So now you can have a ceramic tile floor inside of an extremely colorful building that you make yourself. It's pretty cheap, that you can grow stuff in, or you can just live in. And I believe you could use the foam SMID method to make your own countertop and sink and tub shower outfit. And this would probably require a whole extra video, but in short, what I've been doing lately is working with some spray foam, putting it right on foam board, putting the plastic on it, and then having a shape or a mold or something, depending on if it's expanding foam. That's kind of like expand where you don't want it. So this I haven't worked on too much, but I have some good experimental results, and I am an experimenter. I've done, I don't know how many thousands of experiments in my life. I've done hundreds of experiments, thousands of ideas for experiments, just on the friggin' SMID method. That stands for sheet metal dish roof. Was the original idea about 20-some years ago I got. An act of, I don't know if it was God sending me the idea or what, but anyone has ever figured out how to take a regular roofing steel and hang it between beams, and actually the steel itself supports the roof because it's extremely strong. You can get, I think, 200-300 feet span on regular roofing steel at a 40 pound a square foot load, something like that. And then there's the high strength steel, so farther than 200-300 feet, go for it. But this is some of my ideas for this morning. I was very happy with all of it, and I think I'm going to make some models, and I got no idea how I'm going to get this word out, because nobody watches my videos, because they are kind of boring. But anyway, hope you guys are happy today too. I am happy, and I'm going to sign off. Bye-bye now. See you guys.